The analog to digital event, just getting back to that briefly, that's a much more established event, let's say. I mean, the people exhibiting are quite large companies.
Yeah. This is all about local-based companies and about used equipment. The last thing we did, which was analog to digital, which we did in March of this year, that was all about large companies coming down, the big ones like the Fender and Roland and Yamaha. IK Multimedia is a big software company, and Pro Tools. And some of them came down from London, some of them flew in from Europe. So IK Multimedia, for instance, they flew in from Italy for the day. And they were showing off brand new products. And that was all about learning. And that was all about analog, as in a lot of it is recreations of old equipment, as in computer software or bits of hardware that recreate old drum machines and synthesizers. And the digital side was that, you can now run it on a computer system. What I found is, as a musician, that it's great having all this stuff, but if you compare a piece of software and a computer, sometimes it feels like you've got to be a rocket scientist to use it. And as a musician, you just want to make music. So the whole idea of this was, you could come along to analog to digital, and the manufacturers were there, and they would actually show you what the software could do and show you how to use it as well. So we had people do tuition throughout the day. One of the interesting ones that we had is we had a gentleman called Ben Fenner, and he's one of the sound engineers that's worked on all the Radiohead albums. And he's the guy that sits there and he controls all the desk and he makes the album sound beautiful. Obviously Radiohead write the music and write the songs, and he makes it sound almost solid. And he came down and he did a couple of workshops there, and basically he did that for free, and people could come in, sit down for an hour and learn how to use this new software package to make their music sound as good as it could, basically, using just a home computer system and a bit of software, which I think costs about £100, £200, so really cheap in comparison to hiring out a studio, hiring out an engineer, buying literally hundreds of thousands of pounds of equipment, which is what you'd do if you were Radiohead. And he was showing how you could get very, very similar, good quality results just on your home setup, and basically taking people through all the way from the beginning of taking the mix song and put it into the computer, and then finishing it and mastering it and having it burn on CD so they could distribute it. So it was a bit of that. We had workshops as well where people could come in and ask for advice on how to use their computers. We had a lot of Apple Mac systems there because they're very popular for making music. They're very easy to use, but the software's got an awful lot of different ways to do things, so it's creative. So
you're not thinking of having old computers at this event?
Old computers, yeah, I thought about it.
A few
actually.
DOS machines?
Yeah, I thought about it. I quite like old computers for making music. If you gave me an old Atari system, I'd be in heaven. I had loads of them. Beautiful for making music. Also old Amigas. There's a local guy who... don't seem very keen on DOS. You haven't mentioned any... DOS is fantastic. Nothing wrong with DOS. DOS is very stable. I loved it. At the time, I used to do lots of music using those kind of old systems. We had to load it up on 3.5-inch floppy disk. No problem with it at all. I don't care whether you're running Windows or a Sinclair or an Amiga or an Apple Mac, it doesn't matter. As long as you're doing something creative with it and it doesn't break down halfway through and you're doing something amazing creative, then it's good for me.
Okay, well we'll see what turns out the next occasion.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of which, do you have in mind to do another one of these?
Of the vintage fairs?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to try and squeeze one in before the end of the year. I think we'll try and do one maybe in November, hopefully the same venue. It's been really popular, and I know a lot of people that wanted to exhibit this time but couldn't because they had other things, because it's August, they were on holiday, or their businesses, their staff were on holiday. Try and get them to come down next time. And also some people that have visited today have actually said that they run their own businesses, or they deal with musical equipment, or they're local luthiers, and that they'd like to come along to the next show. So I'm hoping this one, being the first one, is kind of the basis for something that will go on, hopefully become something that will become part of the social event for musicians in the southwest, and hopefully we'll do it in Exeter maybe 3, maybe 4 times a year if it all goes well.
And what about the analog to digital event? It's another one of those coming up.
Definitely. We did that one, and analog to digital this year was the first one of its kind in the whole of the southwest. We had about 20 major companies come down, and the feedback that we got from them and from the people that came and visited, as in the actual punters as it were, that came through the door, was phenomenal. They've all said they want to do next year, so we're just trying to get a solid date at the moment. We have a tentative date of around the 20th of March, so we're looking at perhaps doing it again with the Vibraphonic Festival, which is something that's been going for a few years here. However, we may move the date just so we don't clash with any of the other major events in Europe. What was quite interesting is that companies that we were dealing with, some of them have just come back from America and were just about to go over to Germany to the Music Messe show, and we were slap bang in the middle and we were on their website. So you had NAMM show in America, Analog to Digital Festival in Exeter, Devon, and then you have the Music Messe over in Munich in Germany, and we've just put ourselves on the map with all these huge festivals and big shows been going for many years, and now they want to all come and do it again. So hopefully we can turn that to a regular event and help put the Southwest on the map for musicians.
Right, well I think it sounds like a good combination.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, well Jef, thank you.
Oh, anytime you want.